After you coach enough YouTube channels, you start to see patterns. And I don't mean vague patterns like consistency matters or find your niche. I know, groundbreaking stuff. I mean very specific, repeatable things that show up in almost every channel that breaks through, and also very specific mistakes that show up in almost every channel that doesn't. Now, I've coached over 500 channels, and my clients have collectively generated over $100 million in results. And I've personally made over $10 million from YouTube myself. So today, I'm not gonna be giving you theory, I'm gonna be giving you the patterns, the actual things that matter, pulled straight from 500 real channels. So if you appreciate me making this type of content and you want me to make more of it in the future, gently tap that like button and let's jump into it right now. Let me ask you a quick question. Who do you think spends more money? The person who wants to whiten their teeth or the person with a debilitating toothache who can barely function? Obviously, it's the person in pain. Like, there's no competition. The whitening person is browsing options, comparing prices, maybe buying, maybe not, whatever, it's a cosmetic thing. But the person with the toothache, they need a solution right now. They will pay whatever it takes to make the pain stop. And this is the single biggest mistake that I see on YouTube. People make content for the whitening crowd when the toothache crowd is right there and will pay 10 times more. So the same logic applies to every single YouTube niche. Most people pick a niche that sounds specific but is actually just vague. Finance tips or career advice or health and wellness, whatever that means. And they end up making content for the whitening crowd. Nice to have content with no urgency behind it. But here's the thing about trying to talk to everyone. You're actually talking to no one. Think about it like a doctor. Let's just say you get hit with a rare tropical disease, a brain disease specifically, and you need brain surgery. Do you go to your general practitioner or do you find a world-renowned specialist who has operated on this exact condition 300 times? Obviously, you're gonna go to the specialist. And here's the crazy part. The specialist doesn't need to be famous. He doesn't need 4 million subscribers. He just needs to be the guy for that one specific painful problem in that city. And that's exactly what my client Bill did. See, Bill is a financial controller, not just an accountant, a financial controller, which is a very high level role that can pay multiple 6 figures a year, and it's a high level type of accountant. And accountants who are stuck in lower paying roles, well, they're in pain. That toothache is real. They're watching their peers in other fields out-earn them by $50,000 or $100,000 a year. So Bill didn't make generic finance content or generic accounting content.
Open up the financial period and record the journal entry.
He built his entire channel around one specific niche hypothesis. I help accountants become financial controllers. That's it. He's not talking to the whitening crowd. He's talking to people in genuine professional pain who will pay to fix it. And the result is that Bill, at the time he recorded this testimonial for me, was making $70,000 in a single month from his YouTube channel. And he's not special. He's just using the same playbook. All right, quick break. This week, I'm doing a one-time only workshop where I talk about how to finally make money from YouTube.com in 2026. And you can check it out down in the description and the pinned comment below. At this workshop, I'm gonna be giving away the Niche Validator Pro completely free. This is a GPT powered by a piece of software that I've been working on for a long time now, and it's been trained on thousands of hours of my teaching, coaching sessions, and more, so you don't have to spend years to pick a profitable niche. You can do it in a matter of minutes. Heck, it's even possible to do it in seconds sometimes. And I'm gonna be giving this away at the workshop. So make sure you click the link in the description and then show up to the workshop. And the best way to do that is to make sure you add it to your calendar once you've signed up for it. So you basically just click add this to your calendar once you're on the thank you page after you've registered. And it'll show up as either Google, Apple, or Outlook calendar, whatever calendar you have. So you can make sure you won't miss the chance to grab the Niche Validator Pro completely free. And you'll also be able to ask me questions live. So I look forward to meeting you. Can't wait to see you there. I'm gonna be showing you this new opportunity. It's completely free and it's amazing whether you basically want to use it to get a better job, use it to network, use it to make some passive income, start a side hustle, make a full-time income, or even start a full-on business. It works incredibly well with all of those and it's completely free. So make sure you click the link in the description and then show up to the workshop. And now back to your regularly scheduled content. Now here's something that nobody talks about enough. The decisions that you make early on YouTube compound. Good ones compound and bad ones compound too. And I've seen both of them a lot. Most creators don't realize how much leverage they have in those first few months. The right early decisions don't just add up, they multiply. So my client Clifford is the perfect example. When I first met Clifford, he had 3 separate YouTube channels that he was uploading to regularly. And here's the wild part. They were all getting views, like legitimate traction. But he was struggling to turn those views into real money. And he was successful in every metric except the one that actually matters. And we looked at all 3 of those channels and we picked the one with the highest monetization potential, which is his college hacked channel. And this is where he teaches people how to navigate college degrees as a PhD, and we helped him focus on that channel, dial in his monetization strategy, and pair it with the right offer. And within one conversation with me, he was making an extra $24,000 a year. And since that, he's made a heck of a lot more. So that is YouTube compounding. The right channel, the right niche, and the right offer. Those decisions build on each other, but the wrong ones can compound too. 3 channels going nowhere is 3 times the work with 1/3 of the result. So pick the right things from the start and then let it compound. Now, here's where most people get this completely wrong. They think getting views on YouTube is about creating demand. Like, I'm gonna make such good content that people will come looking for it. And look, that can work eventually, but there's a much faster way to do it. Stop creating demand and start standing in front of demand that already exists. Think about a hot dog stand. Opening a hot dog stand outside of a football stadium on game day, you don't need to advertise. You don't need to go viral, and you don't need Michelin star level food. There are 80,000 people walking right past you who are already hungry. So the foot traffic is the strategy. But most creators, they're opening a 5-star buffet in the middle of the desert. Beautiful setup, amazing content, and 0 foot traffic. And then they wonder why nobody shows up. And I literally did this myself. One of my best performing videos started as something another creator had already made, a video called The Most Worthless College Majors. Now that video got over 700,000 views with only 10,000 subscribers. And there was already a massive audience wanting this content. And he just happened to unknowingly make content that a lot of people are looking for. So I didn't invent the conversation, I just set up my hot dog stand right outside of that stadium. I called mine The Most Useless Degrees. And that video now has over 4.4 million views. So I didn't create demand, I just harnessed the demand that already existed. In other words, I found where a crowd already was, and I showed up and I opened up my hot dog stand. And this brings me to the next point, which is you have to show up to the hot dog stand every day. Now, you might be thinking, Shane, I am being consistent. Or sometimes I might miss a week, but I post every month, I'm doing the work. And I believe you. But here's the thing about consistency. It only works if you're showing up to the right hot dog stand every day. Posting every day in the middle of the desert doesn't get you customers. It just means you're going broke faster. So let me be real with you. So consistency is not the whole strategy. Consistency is the right niche with the right content pointed at the right crowd. That is the strategy. Because if you're showing up every week to the wrong stadium, you can do that for years and see nothing. Same work ethic, same consistency, wrong hot dog stand. And trust me, I've seen creators grind for 2, 3, even longer than that, even up to 8 years in the wrong spot and wonder why nothing's happening. For instance, this client right here had been posting on YouTube for over 8 years, never had a single video pop off. And within the first month working with us, they had 2 videos that popped off and got over 100,000 views, and one of them hit over 300,000. So a hot dog stand outside of the stadium only works if you keep showing up. One video won't do it. 1 month won't do it. But consistently showing up in the right spot, that's when the compounding kicks in. So find the stadium first, then show up every single day. Niche, stadium, then consistency in that order. Now, when it comes to analytics, people really overthink this stuff, especially when they first begin. And people ask me this all the time. What stats should I look at? Click-through rate, average view duration, impressions, subscriber count. You know, I know you're checking them obsessively. We all did. And here's what I discovered. After coaching 500 channels, the creators who are actually making money only care about one stat. And that is the revenue that their videos produce, right? So the revenue per video or the revenue per 1,000 views. That's it, right? The revenue is the only number that matters. Not your click-through rate, not how many people subscribed. Your revenue per video or your revenue per 1,000 views tells you whether your content is reaching the right audience with the right offer. Everything else is just noise. And I would know because I've been obsessing over this number on my own channel for years. My main channel does over $400 per 1,000 views, and that's more of a mass market channel. And we just recently dug into the data and discovered that it's actually closer to $800 per 1,000 views on my newer videos. And you can compare that to the average YouTube channel typically making $3 to $5 per 1,000 views. So we're talking 160 times more revenue per view. Not 10% more, not double, 160 times more. So that's not luck, that is targeting the right audience with the right offer and measuring the right thing. So stop watching the scorecard that nobody pays you for. Oh, and by the way, my other channels can do even more than that. So my niche channel, for instance, which is all about YouTube YouTube for business owners and goes over higher level stuff, that channel makes over $4,000 per 1,000 views. So it's making over 1,000 times more per view than the average YouTube channel. And look, everything we talked about so far, niche, compounding, foot traffic, consistency, the right stat to actually pay attention to, none of it matters if you don't have this last piece, which is the offer, right? And I've seen creators get their first video to 500,000 views, 500,000 people watching, and they made almost nothing from it because they had no call to action, no email list, and no offer, no place to send all of those people. And by the way, I'm not making this up. This is a real client. 500,000 views just evaporated. So that is what I call the offer gap. You can do everything right on the content side and leave 90% of the money on the table because you forgot to build the bridge. And my client Joaquin is the perfect example of what happens when you close that gap. When I first met Joaquin, he was 18 years old with a small YouTube channel talking about engineering concepts and study tips. And he was a smart kid, decent content as well, but he wasn't making any money. And I've seen this exact pattern hundreds of times. The niche was too broad and there was no clear path from I watched your video to I'm going to pay you to solve my problem. So we completely pivoted his niche. Now, Joaquin is an international student who got into an elite Ivy League university, specifically UPenn at Wharton, which is one of the best business schools in the world. And we built his entire channel around that unfair advantage, helping international students get into Ivy League schools, or at the very least, elite universities. So new niche, clear offer, and clear audience. And within a short period of time, Joaquin went from making basically nothing to $85,000 in a single month as a teenager. So same kid, same work ethic, different niche, and a clear offer at the end of every video. The content gets people in the door, the offer is how you get paid. Here's the thing. After coaching 500 channels, it is never about working harder. It's about these fundamentals. Target people that are in pain, not the whitening crowd. Be the only brain surgeon in the city. Let the right early decisions compound. Set up your hot dog stand where the crowd already is. Show up every single day. Track the one number that actually pays you and close the offer gap. Because 500,000 views means nothing without somewhere to send people. So pain point, niche, compound, foot traffic, show up, one stat, and the offer. That is the whole playbook. Now, you might be thinking, this sounds great, Shane, but I need help actually building this out. And that's exactly why I have a free live workshop where I help you implement all of this. So click the link in the description in the pinned comment below for that. And I also have a one-on-one coaching program, although we are very limited in terms of the people that we work with, but we are opening up a limited number of spots right now. So you can check that down in the description in the pinned comment below as well. That should be the second link down there. And if it's not down there, it'll be in the about section on my channel, because again, we only work with a select group of people at a time. And you can check out an example of one of our clients that we've worked with by clicking right here.